A law passed while you were sleeping. While the public was distracted by social media, sporting events, and political theater, the landscape of American financial freedom underwent a fundamentally cataclysmic shift. Last Thursday, on the 12th of February, at 11:47 p.m., the Senate quietly passed the Digital Currency Modernization Act via a voice vote, a maneuver designed to avoid a recorded roll call and public accountability. There was no floor debate, no amendments, and virtually zero media coverage. With the wealth transfer imminent, the cabal is going to cabal and try to get ahead of it.
So how about a couple of the farmers? Would anybody like to speak? Would
Yeah.
you like to? Do you want to just say how great milk is?
It's so amazing.
They will lie, cheat, steal, rape, kill, and then eat you until their very last God-given chance expires. This 847-page piece of legislation, which most members of Congress haven't even read, was signed into law during a private ceremony on Monday. The White House dismissed it as a, quote, necessary modernization, unquote. But for anyone paying attention, it is the most comprehensive expansion of financial surveillance in history. The financial freedom owed to you, the ability to transact privately and hold wealth outside a digital surveillance system, has been legally restricted. While the world was looking elsewhere, the rules of money changed forever. $600 has become a snitch threshold. Your cash just became a federal case. Under Section 307 of the new law, the threshold for reporting cash transactions has been slashed from $10,000 to a mere $600. This is not a future threat. It is active now. Any cash transaction exceeding this amount must be reported to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, within 24 hours, including your name, address, and identification number. This change doesn't ban cash, but it strangles it through economic pressure. According to Federal Reserve data, the average household conducts between 36 and 60 transactions per year that fall into the $600 to $1,000 range. Across 130 million households, this will generate a staggering 4.7 to 7.8 billion cash transaction reports annually. For small businesses, the burden is existential. With compliance costs estimated at $15 to $25 per report, a small business handling just 10 reportable transactions a day faces $73,000 per year in pure regulatory overhead. For many, this cost exceeds their entire profit margin, effectively forcing them to stop accepting cash to survive. And thus, cash is effectively banned in the patented slimy way the cabal is known for. It isn't, but it is and will ultimately be with this in place. This is how liberty dies, not with an outright prohibition, but with regulations so burdensome that compliance becomes impossible. Furthermore, Section 312 empowers banks to act as surveillance agents, reporting structuring patterns. Under these vague new rules, withdrawing $500 twice in 1 week could be flagged as suspicious behavior, triggering a federal investigation into your private life. In an effort to, quote, catch criminals, unquote, everybody is effectively treated like one. Of course, this is to seize absolute control of the financial system before the wealth transfer occurs. If they wanted to catch criminals, investigations would have happened years ago into all of the people mentioned in the Epstein files. The implementation of a central bank digital currency has moved from theory to mandatory reality. The so-called conspiracy theorists were right. Section 101 mandates that starting January 1st, all federal payments, including Social Security, veterans benefits, federal salaries, and tax refunds, will be paid exclusively via Federal Reserve digital wallets tied to your Social Security number. Even the common man would do a double take hearing the non-government entity, known as the Federal Reserve, having so much power when they shouldn't be operating at all. This is the end of the private bank account as we know it for federal recipients. However, the true surveillance foundation is found in Section 203. This section dictates that the Federal Reserve ledger, where every digital dollar transaction is recorded, is now accessible to the Treasury, IRS, FBI, and DHS for any, quote, legitimate law enforcement purpose, unquote. This deliberately vague definition grants the government complete, real-time visibility into your financial behavior. Every purchase, every donation, and every transfer becomes a permanent entry in a government-monitored ledger. Section 401 targets the primary exit from the digital system, precious metals. The law now imposes a $200 reporting requirement on gold and silver. They couldn't have made their ill intent any more blatant. To put that in perspective, at current prices, a mere 3 ounces of silver or a single 1/10 ounce gold coin will now trigger a federal report. The government is essentially building a registry of precious metal owners, a move with a chilling historical precedent. In 1933, Executive Order 60-102 forced Americans to surrender their gold at $20.67 per ounce, only for the government to immediately revalue it to $35, effectively stealing billions from the citizenry. Because they lacked a registry then, compliance was spotty. Section 401 ensures they won't have that problem next time. However, there is a 90-day implementation delay. Any metal acquired within this 90-day window remains invisible to the registry. Once this window closes, every subsequent purchase creates a permanent government record. I feel acting inside of this window might be viewed as a type of silent compliance by the powers that were. Don't fall for it. This must be abolished. That moment when your dollars have an expiration date. The Act provides the legal and technical framework for programmable money, mirroring the digital yuan system already active in China. This isn't just about tracking money, it's about controlling it. There are 3 dystopian concepts now possible under the new law. Programmable restrictions. The government can prohibit the purchase of specific items, such as firearms, ammunition, or unapproved books, or block donations to unauthorized political organizations. Expiring money. To force economic consumption and control the velocity of money, digital dollars can be programmed to expire. If you don't spend them within a set time frame, like, for example, 90 days, they simply vanish from your wallet.
Well, the World Economic Forum already told you years ago, people thought it wasn't going to happen. They're going to have CBDC, central bank digital currencies, and that money is programmable. Now, I want you to watch this video, and you're going to see the things that they can do with it. They're going to want you to buy porn. They're going to want you to buy drugs and alcohol. But see if you pick up on what he says.
Think about the benefits of digital money. There are huge potential gains. It's not just about digital forms of physical currency. You can have programmability. Units of central bank currency with expiry dates. You could have, as I argue in my book, a potentially better and some people might see it, or a darker world where the government decides that units of central bank money can be used to purchase some things, but not other things that it deems less desirable, like, say, ammunition or drugs or pornography or something of the sort. And that is very powerful in terms of the use of a CBDC.
So after seeing that, look, if they're saying it at the World Economic Forum, it's going to happen.
Negative interest rates. In an all-digital system, there is no physical cash to withdraw to escape bank fees. The government can implement negative interest rates, automatically deducting a percentage of your savings every month as a tool for, quote, stimulating the economy. The United States has moved into an 18-month transition window that will end with the total marginalization of cash and the full operation of the digital dollar. But why now? The answer lies in the $34 trillion national debt. With interest payments exceeding $1 trillion annually, the debt is mathematically unpayable. The digital system allows for hidden inflation and targeted price controls. By monitoring every transaction, the government can manipulate relative prices and implement subsidies for approved behavior while taxing the unapproved, managing a failing currency by exerting total control over the people who use it. The shift from a free economy to a panopticon of financial behavior is nearly complete. It doesn't sound like the land of the free anymore, but was it ever?
Look at this Bitcoin information, overhead shot. So you've got in 2015 talking to all these top Bitcoin scientists, engineers, and he's talking about how the Bitcoin Foundation has fallen apart, which you can look up in history it did, and how they were going to take it over, which they, to a great extent, did take control of, so they could control the inside engineering, and then they could basically create phantom Bitcoin to manipulate the market and control it. Intelligence agencies are all over it. It was created by Western Intelligence, I believe. They always create a tax-free foundation for it. It later fails. And then the big guys come in and grab it. Look at OpenAI and Sam Altman, it's a foundation, nonprofit. Then, it fails. And now they take it over. Same thing with Google and In-Q-Tel and all of it. So then he swoops in, CIA creates it. Israel basically comes in, takes it over. So we've got all these top investors saying, hey, You know, when you find out who owns Bitcoin, you won't be happy anymore. In fact, here's Dan Penna. We'll pull a clip of him here in a minute. If you knew who was really behind Bitcoin, you would run as fast as you effing could. Well, the fact that the globalists are in Bitcoin and pump it up and dump it and pump it up and dump it, it's like their cash machine.
Roger Ver outed this several years ago. Roger Ver said the intelligence agencies have co-opted Bitcoin, and they're trying to take control of it, sabotage it into a control mechanism. And you have a lot of these tech bros that have surrounded the president, many belatedly, many were opposed to him throughout 2024, that want to push a central bank digital currency. This is what Marjorie Taylor Greene has been warning about. And is it a surprise that Epstein is the guy who introduces Palantir to Israel, but then Israel uses it to try to bring it back to the United States as a surveillance state operation?
At the risk of sounding a little bit crude and curt, when it comes to controlling money, which group would you think is responsible?
Larry Fink says it will happen rapidly. He's no Twitter twit. He's a Tomu twit. He and his tiny hat manages BlackRock that controls $15 trillion in big assets. Now he brags about what international Jewish finance is planning.
You talk to central bankers regularly. What are the biggest concerns today of central bankers about what's going on in the global economy?
I would say the biggest question from central banks is what is the role of tokenization and digitization? How quickly should they think about digitizing their own currency? What does that mean for the role of the dollar? If every currency digitizes and we have what does that mean for bank payments? What does that mean for the payment companies like MasterCard and Visa? All these are being questioned right now.
Not questioned at all. It's fixed for 2026. It replaces the dollar and rigs a direct global currency instead. All purchases and transactions, whether personal or stocks, will surface in a flash on every Jewish banker's ledger. A digital wallet where exchange rates, authorizations, and clearances occur in a moment's time.
And the opportunity we're going to have a digital wallet and moving ETFs and other things through a digital wallet. And I think that's going to happen worldwide very rapidly. And I think most countries are ill-prepared for that and underappreciate how technology is changing that, not unlike how technology is changing AI and other things. It will be changing the technology around the plumbing of finance.
That plumbing will flush out all privatization of purchases by eliminating cash, minimizing Bitcoin quarantines and clearance delays. That plumbing will build a direct pipeline to a Jewish globalist digital wallet that traces, organizes, and stores every purchase you make. Is fixed for 2026. A one-world government with a global currency complete with a Jewish Antichrist in one digitized and tokenized package.
Wait, hold up. Let me get this straight. So one of the richest men on earth wants you to have a digital ID, and that's just the beginning. Larry Ellison, the owner of Oracle and now TikTok, not only said he wants our data centralized with an AI surveillance system, but he also said this.
Citizens will be on their best behavior, because we're constantly reporting everything.
Citizens will be on their best behavior. That sounds like a very dark dystopian future. And speaking of citizens, these people are protesting as we speak in the streets of London with signs that say no to digital ID. And why does this seem like a bigger overall plan in Europe? Because not only they're pushing a digital ID, but a CBDC as well, a central bank digital currency, in which is being pushed by this woman, the president of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde.
Put to reality this digital euro. The deadline for us is going to be October of 25. And we all get...
This is why education is key, you guys. Here's a trick bag. So they don't want you buying Bitcoin and other decentralized protocols, but they want you to buy their crypto, a CBDC, controlled by them and only them. And if you guys don't think this can happen, well, it's already happening in China right now with digital IDs and a social credit score.
Cannot buy food. A couple days ago, my uncle and my cousin helped me get a cell phone that is linked to his Chinese bank card so that I can buy anything.
And if that's not bad enough, they even have facial recognition technology for kids to get inside their own schools. And I'll say it once and I'll say it again. They always put it in the movies. Remember that episode on Black Mirror years ago where they had a social credit score system? Well, surprise, surprise. It's here.
They could try to force this system on us as much as they want, but it only works with our participation.